What is the effect of financial aid on graduation rates among Mountain West public universities? Hi, I'm Amaris, and along with my group members Katie and Francisco, we are super excited to present our findings about graduation rates and financial aid. When our group sat down to discuss the idea for Project 5, we did not know where we wanted to go with it. We figured we should look at education data as we are about to all graduate from the university. The data we decided to look at was given to us by iPads, and we decided to look at 28 different state schools in the Mountain West region. The question we posed from this data is, how do graduation rates between men and women affect the percentages of students receiving financial aid among these universities? In our project, we take a look at findings similar to ours, our expected signs for this project, descriptive statistics of the data, our empirical results, and as well as results and projections from this project. In order to fully understand our topic, we decided to look for existing literature to expand on financial aid effect on graduation rates. So this helped narrow our search and expand what we were trying to do. So stated above are the important quotes from each reading that we found. Each of the readings did agree that financial aid does have an effect on graduation rates, but in our study we wanted to see if the inverse was true and if graduation rates have an effect on financial aid. We have three variables in this project. The first variable, financial aid, is our dependent variable, so there will not be an expected sign for this variable. Both of our independent variables we tested are mgrad and wgrad, which are the graduation rate of men and women. They are both expected to be negative. This is because the effect of graduation rates has on financial aid. We are trying to figure out if the higher graduation rate will provide more funding to give out in scholarships due to the success of the university.
Hi, my name is Katie, and I will be presenting the summary statistics for our dataset. This includes a descriptive statistics table, a correlation matrix, and scatter plots of our independent variables. This is the descriptive statistics table that we received for our output. As we can see, the mean, standard deviation, and min and max values are our columns, while our variables FinAid, MGrad, and WGrad are our rows. So what does this tell us? Well, on average, 88% of students receive some financial aid within the 28 public four-year universities in the Mountain West. We see that the max value for financial aid was 99%, and that was at New Mexico State University, while the University of Colorado at Boulder had the lowest rate of financial aid distribution at 66%. Another observation we can make here is that women have a higher graduation rate than men do. On average, women graduate around 52%, while men graduate at 44.6%. Lastly, we can see that there are min and max values within the men and women graduation rates. So New Mexico Highlands University had the lowest male graduation rate at 17%, while Great Basin College had the lowest female graduation rate at 26%. And interestingly enough, the Colorado School of Mines had the highest rate of graduation for both male and females at 82 and 85% respectively. Next, we have a correlation coefficient matrix for our variables. We can see that there is a negative correlation of men and women's graduation rates on the percentage of students receiving financial aid. This is denoted by the intersection of FinAid and MGrad, which is negative 0.1919, and the intersection of FinAid and WGrad, which is at negative 0.0333. What this tells us is that there's a stronger correlation between MGrad and FinAid, since that number is a little bit larger. However, that's still a relatively weak relationship. This also shows us that there's a virtually non-existent relationship for WGrad and FinAid, given that negative 0.0333 is very close to 0. So this shows us the relationships between our two independent variables and our dependent variable. These are the scatter plots for our data set. Taking a look at the left-hand side, we see the relationship between MGrad and FinAid. The line of best fit slopes downward, but the dots are not very concentrated around the line. Thus, we have a weak negative correlation. This is in line with our output that we got from the correlation matrix of this relationship being negative 0.1919. On the right-hand side, we see the relationship between WGRAD and FinAid, and this is virtually non-existent. The line of best fit is relatively flat, while the dots are dispersed among the graph and not very close to the line. This is in accordance with our assumption that the relationship is negative 0.0333.
Hello, my name is Francisco Reyes, and I will be presenting the empirical results and conclusion sections of this study. On the left-hand side of this slide, we have the data output presented when we ran our regression results. As you can see, there are only two variables present, the male graduation rate and female graduation rate, both affecting financial aid in this model. So to begin with, we have the average rate of financial aid to students is about 88.63%, as shown by the intercept. This was statistically significant, the 99% confidence level, as indicated by the 3 asterisks present. Following this, we also have male graduation rate, which causes financial aid to fall about 34.54%. This is a very interesting kind of conclusion. For each percentage point increase in male graduation rate, we have a fall of financial aid presented by universities. However, this was found to not be statistically significant at any conventional level. The closest level it was found to be was the 90% confidence level, but it is much too low for this group to accept. Following this, we also have female graduation rate, which causes financial aid to increase by 29.25%. So very interesting dichotomy between these two kind of rates and their effects on financial aid. Again, however, this lacks statistical significance as it was not statistically significant at any conventional level. The t-score was much too low. Moving past this, looking at just the model in itself, you can see that the f-score for this output was only 1.40, again, making it statistically insignificant. There was just simply no significance, making this group of researchers presume that there is no relationship between these, which will be touched on in the So as previously stated, here's the conclusion. Again, we found no correlation or causal relationship between these variables. Looking at this data output, it was obvious that there lacks statistically significance at any level. Looking about 2 slides ago on the scatter plots, it was evident that there was no correlation between these variables, making it very likely that there may not be a relationship going this way. However, it is possible that the relationship could be facing the other way, which many studies have found that increasing financial aid has increased graduation rates. So it just simply may be the matter of fact that this is not the direction of the relationship and the opposite direction is the correct direction. That is not to say that it is possible that future researchers may find a relationship between this, as there were limitations within our study. Some limitations include the lack of intervening variables. Some of these variables include the size of universities, the income level of students, and even just the actual value of average financial aid provided to students. We simply did not include this. We only had male and female graduation rates. Following alongside this, we also had a very small data pool. We only used 4-year public universities in Mountain West states, including Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. This leaves ample room for extensions upon this study. This study could be expanded to include a data set that is nationwide, including even different types of universities, not just 4-year public institutions. Furthermore, a better pruning of the data to purely similar universities may be adequate. The universities included here had very differing sizes of their undergraduate population alongside very different access to resources, making this a possible intervening factor on our output here. It is important to continue this kind of research, as this research may help universities and governments become more effective in financial aid funding. It is important that we ensure that not only are the educated populace effective in the fields that we send them into, but also that the centers of education where they receive their education are being effective and presenting the best kinds of students that they can.